Well, welcome to the podcast. Nathan Newberry here, your host. We are joined today with Brandon Leibowitz. He is an SEO master. He goes over all of this stuff. He's been doing this for years. He has quite a bit of a big following on social media. And so go follow him. I think it's going to be a really good resource for you as you're learning SEO, which is search engine optimization. I think so many times people miss this step. They think social media is all that you need to do growing online, but SEO is a big one, especially in the world of AI. And I want to kind of get Brandon's take on how he uses it and how he kind of fortitudes building and giving advice and really kind of structuring that toward the end. We're going to talk about even more like some tactics. So wait till the end of the podcast interview here. That's going to be really helpful. Everybody that's tuning in, I just want to give you a free gift. Down below in the show notes, there's a workshop I put together for everybody that's wanting to grow online. If you're trying to figure out how to run ads, build, a sales team, a media team, run ads, leverage AI, all those things I put into this workshop. That's going to be really helpful for you as a resource. Go grab that. That's going to be helpful for you. Brandon, as we dive into it, appreciate you jumping in and talking about some of these really key factors here for our audience here. But one of the questions I asked everybody is, what is high performance? What does that look like to you? What is the characteristics of a higher performance that you've seen, that you've developed in your own life?
Higher performance just to me means probably working at or performing at your best, and it's making sure everything is optimal and that you get enough sleep and that you're feeling good and ready to work on whatever that task is for the day or whatever you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to go hiking or swimming or whatever it is in life, just trying to make sure that you're prepared for it and not just kind of halfway there, but just making sure you're fully present and ready to give it your full attention and try to do your best job possible.
Yeah. Love it, man. Tell the audience here, give some more context to them of like what you do, how you serve people so they have a really good understanding of that.
Yeah, no, I help people get more traffic to their website using search engine optimization. I should make websites on different search engines, wherever you're searching, making sure that you show up, whether it's on Google, Bing, or Amazon, or Yelp, or ChatGPT, or wherever someone is searching. There's ways to try to optimize and make sure that you start capturing that free traffic.
That's great, man. And then there's the paid ads too. Do you do some of that?
So over the years, I realized that SEO gets you traffic, but nobody cares about traffic. They want sales, leads, phone calls. And unfortunately, half the traffic just in general to a website is going to leave immediately. Just any website, half your traffic. The lower the number, the better. But in general, it's like 50% of the people are going to bounce if you look at Google Analytics. And those people that left your website, you could keep yourself top of mind and have touch points and follow them around through remarketing and just trying to show that you are trustworthy because they were at your website, but something distracted them, or your website loaded slowly, or somebody called them maybe and they forgot about you. But having those touch points just helps reinforce it. And that usually helps drive those conversions. Trying to be more holistic and not just focus on traffic, but making sure that traffic actually converts.
Yeah. How did you get into this? Like, bring us back to the beginning of this, where you started. Was it just like a whim that you got into computers and doing SEO and doing that, or like bring us to that moment where you kind of realized the line in the sand moments where you had to really dive into this and make it your own?
Man, I'm not planning on this. Just fell into it after I graduated from college, got business marketing. And back in 2007, when I graduated, one of the first jobs I got offered was helping a company out with their digital marketing, which I don't really know much about it. I told the company that. They said, don't worry, we're new to this as well, and we're going to learn with you, taking you to classes, shops, and seminars. And decided to give that a shot. And after working there for a few months, just realized everyone's probably going to have a website. SEO is free traffic, and who doesn't want free traffic? So focused on that over the years, working at different advertising agencies and as a director of SEO, and before work, after work, and on my lunch breaks, I'd work on my own company, and eventually built that up to where I was able to quit my job, and been doing that ever since, but wasn't planning on it. Just randomly fell into this world of digital marketing and SEO.
Yeah. Well, I want to get your take on this. SEO, search engine optimization. It's something that people like, they know they need to do, but they don't really do it. Maybe they have their nephew build their website, but then it's not configured right. They have it, set up, like they're, Google My Business page is different than Yahoo or Facebook. And then, the algorithms. Talk about some like technical things that every business should have to really at least have some infrastructure that's done. And then talk about some specifics that you would walk people through of like how to really kind of build out that strategy to help them really rank well.
One important thing is site structure and the layout, and trying to make sure that you have pages that list out all the different services that you offer, or if you're an e-commerce website, listing out all the different categories or collections. But if you're a dentist and you just have one page saying I'm a dentist and these are all the dental services I offer, that's good, but it's not as beneficial as having a page for teeth whitening, a page for cavities, a page for braces, a page for whatever you want to target. The more pages you have, the more keywords you could start targeting, because each page kind of loses relevancy after about like 3 to 5 words of keywords. And the more pages, the more keywords you could target. And one big part about having those pages, though, is creating pages is good, but Google needs text on those pages. So having content helps Google better read and understand and know what these pages are about, because they struggle images and videos and audio. They're getting much better at it, but they still want that text. The more text you put on each page and the more pages you have, the more opportunities you have to rank for different keywords. And it really opens up the website, because a lot of people just build pages or websites that are 1 or 2 pages and looks good visually, but it's not the best for SEO. Google struggles with that. And more pages, more content is something that doesn't require coding. There's no technical experience necessary. Just add more content. A lot of that other SEO is very technical, getting into the coding, but just changing that with more pages, the site structure is kind of like that foundation that you're setting to build everything on top of it.
And then what about Google My Business and Facebook and all those different like pages? Is that important to be ranked in Google?
It depends. So Google Business Profile is for local businesses, but if you're a national business and you don't have any local presence, you don't really need that. Or e-commerce businesses don't really need Google Business Profile unless you have a storefront. But if you don't have a storefront, then you don't really need those. And SEO is different for every business depending on what you're trying to accomplish. If you're e-commerce, we got to focus on Google Shopping and optimizing your products for Google Merchant Center. But if you're not e-commerce, none of that really is applicable to you. You need to focus on the local business and just try to piece it all together. But in general, Google says that a normal website should have like a Facebook, an Instagram, a Twitter, a YouTube, a LinkedIn, a Pinterest. You don't have to be posting every day, but just having a presence on those tells Google that you probably are trustworthy or legitimate, because Google just does not trust anybody. They don't believe anything anybody puts on a website. And the more trust signals you get sent to Google, the more likely they are to show you. And to Google, a normal business should have some social media presence.
I want to get your take on the importance of not only having a website, but configured in a way that's going to help drive traffic too. Because and tell me the data now, but I remember when I was running my agency, one of the things was on average, someone was on your website for like 8 to 9 seconds. And then it went down to like 3 seconds that someone was on your website. And I remember studying, Donald Miller's, story brand stuff. And he talked about how people need to know like who you are really quickly, because if it's in 3 seconds, you need to really have it configured right out the gate. And then most of the time people don't even go to other pages, just that hero page, the front page, without even a scroll, that they're on 3 seconds. They need to know who you are, what you're about, and what those next steps are. Talk about some of those things after configuring, doing SEO, how important that is with a call to action, with it being really clear and concise of what they do, and then how to kind of set that up. What's your expertise or thoughts behind that?
Well, every page needs to be optimized as a landing page, because you never know if someone's going to land on your homepage, or they might land on one of your service pages, your collections, your category pages, your product pages, whatever page they land on. You need to make sure every single page on your website is optimized for conversions to capture that traffic, and not just have it become a visitor, but get that visitor to actually do what you want them to do.
Mm-hmm.
And that really means making sure everything is above the fold, because most people will never scroll down on the website. So if they don't see what they're looking for right away, they're hitting that back button. They don't have a value proposition at the top, like what's in it for me. probably going to hit that back button. If you don't have like bullet points, skimmable content, if you have a big block of text, they're going to hit that back button, especially on mobile. But if you break it up, make it skimmable, make it easy to read, make it kind of guide people on that journey, give them the value at the top, what's in it for me, to hook me, to get me to want to read more, to want to read those bullet points about more benefits, and then having maybe a video up there or something that's easy to read through, skimmable, and then a call to action, all should be at the top of the page. You should never have to scroll down to see any of that stuff, because if you make people scroll, you lose half your traffic. Most people will never scroll. Seems weird, but they don't see what they're looking for. There's plenty of other options on Google or wherever they came from, and they're happy to hit that back button, because attention spans are so short that if you don't capture them right away, you're going to lose that visitor. So just trying to figure out, what can I do to make it easy to convey my message, not clutter up the top of the page, and just make it really optimized for people. Top of the page should be for people, really optimized for people to skim it, to convert them. Then lower down, you can put keywords and all those other big blocks of text for SEO, because SEO, you do need a lot of content, but nobody wants to read content. So you can put that lower down on that page and just make it people optimized at the top, Google optimized at the bottom.
Is that in like a footer? Is that where people put it, at the very bottom of the website, where it's kind of optimized with the hook, the address, the phone numbers and stuff like that, so that it's focused and pointing to SEO? Is that important, or how do you kind of look at the metadata there for ranking in SEO?
You want to optimize your footer, but the footer is going to be the same on every single page. So if you're a dentist and you're talking about teeth whitening, you probably don't want to put teeth whitening on the bottom of the page, because it might show up for the cavities page, and someone's like, I'm looking for cavities, I don't care about teeth whitening, or vice versa. So having the content on that page, the footer is definitely very important for SEO, how you lay it out, how you structure it, but that's just more general information. Just like the top navigation will be more general, but in between that is where you want to put that content. And I would just say put it lower down on the page. That way it's not at the top of the page, but not in the footer. The footer should just be more like who you are, about us, your address, if you want to put that on there, your name, your social media, links to really important pages. And yeah, that's going to help with the SEO as well, how you lay out that footer.
I don't know if it matters as much anymore, but I want to get your take on, the URL. So it's like the .com /, and then most of the websites now, it just becomes like this like coded message, on the slug of everything else. Is that matter now with, Google recognizing it, where it's actually like, you're talking about dentist, like it'd be like .com / teeth whitening, right? Are those slugs really important to be ranked in Google?
Yeah, they help out a lot. So if you see ones that have weird letters or numbers, they're probably just tracking codes appended to it that are automatically added, but that's probably not them doing it, because most websites have clean structures. But if you do share something, like if you share a URL on Facebook or a post on Facebook, they usually append it with all these tracking codes and things like that, but that's not part of the URL. If anything, if you see a URL with a question mark, anything after that question mark is tracking codes. Everything before that is like the clean URL. But URLs, you go to my website, seooptimizers.com / and then you got a question mark, and you can put all these letters and numbers or tracking codes or UTM codes if you wanted to track the source and medium for Google Analytics. And it could be really, really long, but the only one that matters is everything before that question mark.
When you're creating content, I remember hearing something recently, when you're creating a blog post, to create a table of contents at the top. Does that matter at all? Does that help SEO? I mean, why do people even have that?
It helps because it adds more text to the page.
Okay.
So Google feeds off text. Top of the page, the navigation, where it has like a table of contents, those are all usually header tags. So they're tagged with coding that tells Google these are important pages on the website. They also have like jump tags where you click on it and it drops down to that page. So it's an easy user experience. Someone that doesn't want to read the whole blog post, they could just quickly click to the section that they want to get that content from and get it, and then leave. So they don't have to read a 400 or 4,000 word blog post. That's probably just a lot of it's for SEO, but there's one section that they want to read, and that just helps them get to that page more quickly, more easily. So it's good to put it if you can, table of contents. It's not the most important, but it helps a little bit.
I know there's some like important things with SEO too. It's like search terms, the speed of it loading, security, other facets of things that you put it through. Like, is there key things that you've seen that detriment the SEO or that are important to have?
Yeah, detrimental would be like a new website is not good because if you could buy an old domain, that's going to help save time because Google just does not trust anybody. And if
Hmm.
your website's brand new, it's going to take a while for Google to trust you versus an older website has some history built into it and that speeds it up by trying to game the system, tricking Google. Google's been around for 20 plus 30 years and they've seen all the tricks and people gaming the system. So if you think that you're tricking in font size 0.001 and using white text against a white background on your website and putting a bunch of keywords on there, probably not the best. Google's going to find out, catch on to that, and they do not want you to try and tricking Google. So just as long as you don't do anything that seems a little sketchy or seems like a shortcut, Google's probably seen them all and they are happy to penalize the website. Instead of ranking you higher, they'll drop down in rankings, which we don't want that to happen. But Google wants that to happen because then you're going to spend money on Google ads, which is how Google makes pretty much all their money is they don't really want you to do SEO. They're happy to penalize you if you do stuff that is not according to their standards. So just be careful with everything. The biggest issue is the backlinks. Backlinks are clickable links from other websites that point to yours. And a lot of people manipulate, build low quality backlinks and game the system on that. And that's where I'd be very, very careful with the backlinks. It's all about quality over quantity with everything on your website. Quality content. Don't just use ChatGPT to create hundreds of articles. Maybe create like 5 really good articles versus 100 okay articles because it's all about quality to Google.
What are the important aspects of SEO that we're missing here that we should know that are going to be helpful to be ranked organically in the search engines?
The content on the page,
Okay.
extremely important. Just the text on the page, having good quality backlinks helps build trust. And then you could go in and get into the coding and change title tags or meta descriptions and header tags and schema and alt tags and make sure your sitemap is properly submitted to Google Search Console and all these technical things. Content and backlinks are probably the 2 more important things that don't require coding.
I was going to ask you that, how important that I've seen so many websites that have been built but never submitted to Google. And so they have a great website, but nobody knows about it, even including Google, because they never submitted even their site altogether. So I think that's a one, there's so many times people build websites like at, Wix or Squarespace or those other template sites, but they don't submit it to Google. It's not like a step that they do that, or they don't prioritize, like you're talking about, the metadata behind it. They create the page, but they don't really optimize it with SEO so it ranks at all with the titles or descriptions or anything like that. That's important. And if someone does build a website, those are probably missing things that they're not thinking of that they should probably, when they're listening to this, probably do.
Building a nice website is great, but people don't know about it, then doesn't do much.
Yeah.
So definitely got to go in and work on the SEO, think about the layout, the structure, the hierarchy, the pages that you want to build out, and then going in on whatever platform you're on, whether it's Wix or Shopify or WordPress or Space, they all have a SEO settings on each page where you can optimize the title tags and the meta descriptions and make all those technical changes on the website to make it easier. But if you are building a new website, though, one thing a lot of people don't think about is conversions. Yeah. How to get traffic, not just to my website, to a pretty website, because pretty websites are great, but that doesn't do much. We want websites that convert. So all the stuff that we were talking about earlier, above the fold, value proposition, those things, I also see that most people never even think about that stuff. And just like every page on your website is real estate that if you're not optimizing that for SEO, but also for people, then you're just leaving traffic on the table, money on the table that is going to go to your competition.
And that leads me to the real focus around strategy. I think so many times people feel like I got to have a website. Great. I have a website, but it needs to be focused on lead generation and revenue. And that's where it's like, if we build a great, beautiful website, we got to look at the marketing strategy behind it. And like you're saying, half of the websites that people go to, they just leave, right? I know if I'm looking for, a coffee shop, a restaurant, I'm opening 5 or 6 tabs. I'm not going past the first engine, like the first, web page. I'm not going to like the third or fourth page. It's just like the first one, maybe the second one. And I'm looking at multiple pages. And if it doesn't have the information I need, I just bounce. And it's really short. And so it needs to be really clear, a power punch of an offer, like you're saying, that makes it really clear of who you're helping, how you're helping, and what those next steps are. And I so many times I've had so many building over 100 plus websites over the years. I realized that if someone doesn't have a marketing game plan behind the website, people could build great website that nobody visits. The goal is never the website itself. The goal is to get leads and revenue from it, right? Talk about some ways that people can really captivate the importance of that. What have you found in SEO? Is it video workshops? Is it like specifically for like coaches or other people that want to collect leads for like an information product? Because that's a lot of my clients, they want to do that, or even marketing agencies. It's like they want to get them on a phone call. They want to have a sales conversation. But oftentimes we have to do lead magnets to kind of get their people and build that trust and build that duration of stuff. What have you found that has been the best source for people to do it? Is it video? Is it actual downloads for worksheets? Do you know any specific resources or data behind that specifically?
I would say it's all about testing and seeing what works, because you never know until you try. And I thought that videos would be really good, having a video landing page versus images. And I've tested them all out, and sometimes the videos perform really well, but other times the images will outperform it significantly. I'm like, that's a little weird. I thought video would be better, but it's all about testing and trying it out, testing out that landing page, testing out that offer, testing out the traffic that if you're running paid ads to that lead magnet, testing out the different audiences that you're sending traffic to, the different creative, the text, the imagery, the videos, and all that really comes into play with collecting leads and getting people not just to visit your website, but getting them to sign up. And when I first had my website, I had just like join my newsletter. No one would ever join my newsletter for like 7-8 years. I'm like, how come I'm not getting anybody? And then I realized, why would I join my newsletter? Like, even though I'd say like join this newsletter and get SEO tips all the time, but that's not going to get people to give me their email address. Right. Once I start offering something of value, so I teach classes, I give those classes away for free, or I have lead magnets offering other stuff. And that's where I get people that sign up. Once I made that switch, instantaneously, like that next week, I started getting people that signed up for my email list. So it's all about just trying to take a step back and think, if you're looking at your website, would you sign up for this newsletter? Like, what's going to incentivize you? And if you don't have a good incentive, or if you don't have enough trust built up, maybe like some social proof or reviews, testimonials, video reviews, whatever you can put up there to help build more trust, to get people to want to trust you. Because getting Google to trust you, it's not that difficult. Getting people to trust you enough to give out their email address, like email to people is sacred. And getting someone to give that email is very, very tricky. But test out different offers, different lead magnets, different landing pages, different ways you style that page. Just make sure all your important information is at the top of the page. That way people don't have to scroll. Like, make sure that form is right there, so they never have to scroll down. They could just add their name, their email address, test it out to the different fields on the form. When I just put email, I get many more people that sign up, but I don't get that name, which I'd like to get the name to personalize the emails. So I'm like, thanks, John, for signing up, versus just like, hi, and then no name. It's a little bit more personable. And also it helps with click-through rates, open rates, on emails, where you could put the person's name in the subject line and test that out. It's all about A/B testing. You never know what's going to work. It's not really a one-size-fits-all. If everyone that's listening is all the same style coach and we're all targeting the same audience, it's going to be a little different how our audience reacts and engages with us. So I would just try it all out, see what works, and then just keep pushing that as much as you can.
And I think you bring up a good point. Like, you can have a website, and if you don't drive any traffic to it, it's going to be hard to split test. And so, I think there's a big element of like the importance of running ads, or even having organic traffic that's pointing back to your website for that specific resource. And so a lot of the clients that I serve, what we wanted to do is always, have a way where the organic content is pointing to some lead magnet, because the goal is to like capture their information. even if you're doing like a sell by chat via social media, it could still be driving traffic toward a website landing page for an opt-in to get some information. Or you can even curate the pixels so you kind of can see some of the ads and the conversion of that. Like, have you found any good tools like leveraging Hyros or leveraging just the Meta algorithms analytics or using Google Analytics that's helping you really kind of create a good data point to know what that conversion looks like or what the split tests are? Have you found some good resources and tools that would be helpful for the listeners here?
I mean, the more analytics, the more data you can look at, the better. But those platforms aren't going to tell you the full story. Like Facebook's not going to tell you what really happened with your traffic. Google Analytics will tell you that. Google Analytics will tell you bounce rate, because I have people, like clients, that helping them out with their marketing and they're spending money on Facebook ads. Like yesterday, I had a call with somebody and there's like these social media ads aren't working. Looked in their analytics and it was like a 90% bounce rate. That means like of everybody that came, of 100 people that came to the website, 90 of them left immediately and 10 would stay. And then we looked at how long they stayed on the website on average. It was 6 seconds versus Google organic was again like 34 seconds. Still kind of low. It's like people aren't really staying on their website. So something's wrong with that website where it's not keeping them there. But if you're spending money on ads, Google will tell, or Facebook will say, yeah, we got you 1,000 visitors, but how many of them stayed on your website? Like if you're not getting conversions, you might be like, all right, something's off, but you're not going to know the full story until you see Google Analytics or something where it dives a little bit deeper. And then you'd be like, wow, 90% of the people are leaving immediately. Either it's something's wrong with his landing page, maybe it's mobile doesn't look good, maybe it's a desktop version doesn't look good, or maybe it's just the audience, the targeting is not properly set up. But Facebook, it's not going to really tell you that. The more data you look at, the better. And I haven't used Hyros, but been seeing them, their ads everywhere. So might have to look into them because the more insights, the better. Because Google Analytics is great too, but they're also not going to tell you everything, but they tell you a lot more than Facebook or Meta Analytics will tell you.
I want to get your thoughts on AI. How can you feed AI to know more about you? I think it's the wild, wild west right now with the AI. How can we, just like search and optimization, people are searching it at like SEO type of things in AI. Do you know much about how to get ranked in SEO with ChatGPT or other AI platforms?
Yeah, they're all different and it's tricky trying to piece them all together because there's so many AI platforms out there now. But in general, schema.org is a programming language that Google, Bing, Yahoo made like 15 years ago. And that really helps the AI, the large language models, understand and read websites, is adding schema, adding more text, doing like Q&A type of content, kind of similar to what I've always been doing with SEO. It's just now just really focusing more on schema, making sure that's really set in place. But I've always put schema on websites because it enhances your listing on Google. Sometimes you might see stars in the search results. That's pulled from schema on a website, or you might see like a recipe right there where you don't even have to click onto the website. It just tells you that recipe on Google search right there. That's all pulled from schema. So if you could add schema to your website, that helps those AI platforms better read and know what that page is about. But still testing, try to see how they pick and choose what pages they want to rank or what they show, because it varies so much. If I do the same search 5 times on ChatGPT, it's going to give me different results each time. So it's a little tricky to figure out like what exactly are they looking for. With SEO, search on Google, we can see who's on page 1 of Google, and we can look at what they're doing. Are they doing to get the backlinks or keywords? But because it's always the same, not always, but it pretty much stays the same on Google. It changes all the time, but it's not like ChatGPT where if you did a search on Google for dentist near me 10 times, it's probably going to show you the same dentists. Whereas if we did that on AI, it's going to show you different ones usually all the time. But it changes all the time. AI is constantly changing, and we'll have to see. Eventually, it's probably going to be more stable and similar, and eventually probably be more like a Google search where it just gives a bunch of options and has some ads at the top, and we're going to have to see how it all plays out. But Google is trying to fight hard to keep that traffic because ChatGPT is great, but they're probably like, hey, we can monetize this with ads. We can make 1,000 times more money than we can make than charging $200 or $20 for a monthly subscription, which is not that much. to be able to get access to Chat GPT. And it's well worth spending that $20
Yeah,
to get the premium version versus the free version.
I agree with you. Let me get your take on like how you use AI right now with your business.
With SEO, it's a lot of content. Like I said in the very beginning, it's adding more text to your website. It's very important. I have writers, still prefer human writers, but most of my writers are using AI and then trying to charge me full price for these articles and content pieces. So I've been using AI to help with writing articles and blogs and copy for websites because Google said we don't care who writes the text anymore. It just has to be accurate. AI is not accurate. So I still have to edit it, double, triple check it, make sure it's accurate. But that's the part where instead of using writers write the content, we'll have AI write the content and then have editors edit it. Still have a few writers that I know don't use AI. So I'm trying to hold on to them, but it's so tough nowadays. It seems like everybody that's putting out content, not everybody, but most people that are putting out content are using AI.
Yeah.
But Google said as long as it's accurate, that's number one. AI does AI hallucinations, makes stuff up, doesn't tell you it's making it up. So if you just copy and paste it, not the best. But if you edit it, put in your own tone, your own voice, that's Google said it's all good.
How are you using any Zaps or any automations to help you streamline the efficiency of your business, like reports or the way that you're managing a team or anything like that, that's helped you become really proficient and efficient in what you're doing each day?
And the more you can automate, the better. So automate everything if you can. As I've been trying to do since I first started is automate everything. If I post on Instagram using Zapier, I could have it post automatically to YouTube and that'll keep my YouTube channel updated. Doesn't always work perfectly, but it's good enough. And then I could just go in and tweak the title and the description and cover photo. But that saves a lot of time just trying to, especially social media, automate social media with tools like Zapier or Hootsuite or Buffer and schedule them all out and then have those schedulers auto post them everywhere. So it's like you post on Instagram with Hootsuite or you schedule it out on Hootsuite and then it'll automatically post to Instagram. And then using Zapier, you could have Instagram automatically share that to Facebook, to Twitter, to LinkedIn, to YouTube, to my website, to Pinterest, to wherever I want it to go. So it just kind of populates it all. Doesn't always read properly. Instagram to Twitter. It's not going to be perfect, but you can go in and tweak it. And at least it just keeps your content populated. Skateboarding page. And kind of grew pretty big on Instagram because a couple 100,000 followers. And I made my skateboarding content go from Instagram to Twitter, automatically posting on there because I was like, I don't think my audience is on Twitter, but it's grown to 50,000 followers on Twitter, surprisingly, and gets a lot of engagement. And it's all just auto posting. Doesn't always read properly, but I'm like, I'd rather focus on where my core audience is, Instagram and TikTok, versus trying to spend my time going on to every platform because there's only so much time in the day and you got to kind of pick and choose and really focus where your core audience is, I'd say is number one. And then from there, you could just have automations help just keep stuff populated.
I love that. Thank you so much for telling that stuff. How do you get clients though right now? How are you getting them personally?
Through SEO, making sure my website ranks and then just trying to get clients from any way possible.
Yeah.
SEO is my favorite way, but doing social media, doing email marketing, doing paid ads, podcasting is guest podcasting spots and just trying to get my name out there any way possible. And the more traffic sources, the better. I always tell people I do SEO. I love SEO, but the more places you can get traffic, the better. You shouldn't just put all your eggs in one basket. You got to diversify and try to think, where's my audience? Who are they? Where are they? And
yeah, man. Brandon, how can people follow you and connect with you further?
So I create a special gift for everybody. If you go to my website at seooptimizers.com, that's seooptimizers.com/gift. And they can find that gift there along with my contact information and classes I've done over the years. I've thrown up for free so they could see step by step how to do a lot of stuff that we talked about. And also if they want to book some time on my calendar for free website analysis, I'm happy to check out their website and they can book some time for free there as well.
Perfect. I'm going to put that link down below that everybody can grab. Go follow Brandon on all social medias. He's a good source of contact and information around SEO and other cool skateboarding stuff that he's doing too. That's always fun. Thank you for joining us on the podcast and listening and tuning in. And until next time, we'll see you on the next episode.